Hi, my name is Tari from Closeness.com, and today we're going to have a nice little talk about seduction and being submissive. The word submissive, I think, inherently has a very dangerous context. It's something I like to call a loaded word. It's like saying God, money, power. We all know what it is, but we have very different definitions for it. Dominance, submission, sex, and all of these phrases are very activating for people. So let's quickly define what being submissive actually is, because even the definition, I'm sure, is not going to sound great to many people. Being submissive means that you feel inclined to obey, yield, or defer to the will, authority, or desires of another. Now, when you hear that by itself, who's interested in that? I don't want to yield to the authority of another. Who is this other? And I don't think that every woman should yield and be submissive to any man. But if you are a woman, you also know that it's in your nature to want and to crave things like that, at the very least in the bedroom. You may not want them out and about, though most women find that when they find a man who's able to be that way everywhere, they love it because it helps you relax, feel safe, unwind. Most men don't have this thing in our heads where we are angsty and up in arms and worried everywhere we go and don't feel safe and are unsure. And what a man's masculine energy does is it soothes. Just a man's presence for most women, if he's not too silly, goofy, arrogant, too much of anything, most of the time masculine presence relaxes women and then excites them. And sometimes that transitions really quick. She feels safe and then she feels wet. She feels comfortable and then she feels excited and curious. But that safety is what allows her to submit. And the funny thing is, even me, a decade of experience teaching this stuff, I too still feel funny saying, women will feel best when she's submissive to a man. That's a heavy statement. You can't just deliver that and then let it be. There's more to it. So I want to add this layer. In the context of a woman being submissive to a man in relationship, it often involves a voluntary, conscious choice on her part. That means no force, no convincing, and no coercion. A voluntary, conscious choice to prioritize her partner's leadership, decisions, and needs with the aim of creating harmony. But this dynamic is generally based on mutual respect, trust, a desire to support their partner, rather than some kind of forced or passive powerlessness. Often what it means is that she delivers a softer approach rather than a combative one or a forceful one. Men tend to be like this, and women tend to be a little more like that. Now, friends, how you organize your relationship, if you see yourselves as two equal partners and she makes decisions and he makes decisions and this is working for your relationship, far be it from me to interfere. But I want to talk to you about it in a sexual context, obviously, where a woman submits to the sexual direction and leadership of a man. And here again, far be it from me to say a woman can never lead. I love it when she does, when a woman never can get on top or initiate sex. It's all great on my part too. And I think that some of the best sexual experiences intermingle, and it's not just the man leading. There's a give and take. But I find, especially at least when it comes to sex, that it still needs to be like within the container of masculine leadership. And I'll give you a very easy example. I like the example of oral sex or a man receiving a blowjob because it's something that a woman is giving or performing or offering or doing for her male partner. It's how it's usually seen. Well, if a woman is doing that to a man, isn't he in that moment submissive? Doesn't he just lay back and relax? And the answer is sometimes, but how did you get there? Now, if a woman is really turned on, she loves you, she likes you, she's really horny, you guys have a good thing going, there's great chemistry, it's very easy for her to lay a man back, take down his pants, and go to work. But I don't think that's the most exciting version for her, unless she's super into feeling powerful over a man, or she loves the feeling of giving him pleasure. These are all valid things. And I think things like that happen all the time in the early stages of relationships. when you meet someone for the first time, or you're recently married, or, the first month or two or year or two of your relationship, I think a sexual woman feels very comfortable and confident to try and do these things. And or she'll do these things in Vegas, at the foam cannon party, at the Playboy Mansion, and all these other exotic spots, Ibiza, where certain types of behavior aren't reprimanded and certain types of behavior are encouraged. There's another kind of submissiveness, and that I think is what most people are expecting and are familiar with when they're thinking about a woman being submissive to a man. And that's kind of an idea of a femme sub, where she's being submissive for the pleasure of a man and his pleasure and him taking her and him doing things to her that he wants to do is turning her on. This doesn't work for everybody. I don't even think it works for most people. It's a very particular kind of relationship, and it doesn't exclusively exist in BDSM, but I do think it requires a certain type of female personality to want that. If you've ever heard a female partner say, I want you to do whatever you want to me, just do anything, just go, or she's like pulling you into her over and over again, or she's kind of getting lost in a moment, or there's a huge buildup, all of those things kind of lend themselves to that kind of energy where she wants to be taken. I think by far, anytime a partner feels so comfortable with the other person that they have no problem with you doing anything you want to them, within reason, obviously, that's a very exciting and I would even say very healthy kind of relationship. Because I would like to assume that that means the partner has their best interest in mind. To put it in context, a man doing whatever he wants to a woman, that could go sour really fast. That can become very aggressive. That can become assault. That could become pain and hurt. And again, I know there are layers of that, and some women do like that sort of thing. But I think for most married couples, I think for most people in relationship, getting your female partner to allow you and give you permission to do whatever you want to her presupposes that you have her best interest in mind. So while you might be getting lost in the moment, or super focused on what you're looking at below, or super into her body and feeling passionate about it, which, by the way, is also very flattering to a woman. This is what I love about the way all this stuff links up. It's like when you put attention on a woman, she loves attention. When you are flattering her and showing her your lust and showing her how much you want her and desire her, that's exciting as well. And I know some of you in married relationships don't have that dynamic, so I'm not speaking to all of you, but the possibility of it is there. Her being ravished means that she's in full submission and allowing the man to ravage her. That's a very powerful word as well. She's feeling ravished. He's devouring her. There's that passion, that excitement, that energy. That comes from his lust, his strong sexual masculine desire, and her submissiveness and her yielding so that she can receive. In order to receive, you have to yield. You can't get a great blowjob by not yielding. You can't have great sex by pushing your partner away. There has to be a yielding and an allowing. Now, men often get confused and hear, I got to be dominant, I got to be assertive, I got to be aggressive, and it's very sometimes disrespectful. That's not the ideal way to go about it. But when it's done correctly, it's pretty magical. But there are other aspects of submissiveness that aren't focusing on his pleasure. And I also, when I think of a woman being submissive to me, even though I've been with women who love seeing me enjoy myself, I still, in my heart of hearts, when I think about it, think I want to lead this experience so that she can have a wonderful time. And I hope what you're seeing as I'm laying all this out before you is that when a woman is authentically submissive, and when a man is authentically and in a healthy way dominant or assertive, or at the very least willing to lead the sexual experience, goodness happens everywhere. She gets more turned on, she gets more relaxed, she gets more excited, she probably has more orgasms, there's more of that primal passion. And when the man has her best interest in mind, she's going to also come and come and come and come again. In order to achieve something like this, we have to let go of the idea that sex is expected, a given, something that men should just be given when they want it if they're horny, and same thing for women too. This is a very difficult pill to swallow in relationship, because I also understand that when you get married to someone, you're not thinking of not having sex with them. You're not thinking of having sex with others. You're not thinking, well, if it doesn't work out here, I'll just go get it there. You are committing to one another in sickness and in health, probably to have some form of intimacy, and ideally outside of the 1, 2, or 3 times you did it, to have some children. I'll talk more about that in different episodes. It's a bit of a paradox, whether it's an expectation or not. But in day-to-day practicality, a man doing good deeds and then expecting a woman to have sex with him, or a man simply feeling hard and ready, or having desires to have sex with his wife because that's what he signed up for, and she doesn't want it, or she's not turned on, or she's not excited, hardly constitutes great sex or a dynamic where there's someone dominant and submissive. If a woman is not in the mood to have sex and a man is expecting it and he's feeling dominant and leading and confident and he moves towards her to try to do it and she's like, yeah, I'm not in the mood, it is not attractive at all for him to continue to be dominant and try to, operative words here, force her into submission. Now, interestingly, I actually believe that very few men ever consciously think or try to force a woman into submission. That's also really heavy language. That's really heavy activity. What I think happens is they don't strong arm their partner. They're not like bending her arm and saying, we're going to do this. They're not shouting at her and saying, you need to have sex with me. But where it comes out is anger, bitterness, resentment, frustration, being shut down. And anytime you show a woman those emotions in the sexual department, she's done. She's checked out. She's not having it at all. You can't simultaneously be pissed off at your partner, angry, hurt, resentful, upset, even just one of those individually, and think that you're going to have a wonderful sexual experience, or she's going to go, come and get it. That is not going to happen, even if it has happened to you already. If it has happened to you, it's very likely that she has submitted against her will, or done it because she doesn't want you to get upset or get angry, and so she doesn't feel safe, so she's trying to pacify you. That is not submission. That is not healthy submissiveness. That is not anything that you want to aspire to in your relationship. The answer then becomes that you want to entice her. What a phenomenal word that I've been using since the beginning of time. You want to excite, entice, appetize, wet her palate, and of course, seduce. Seduction is not pulling the wool over your partner's eyes. How did she get here? Oh my God, how did her legs get open? What happened? That is sexual abuse. How did this man wind up inside of me? That is not seduction. And I'll give you the hit list of things that you don't want to be doing now. Asking for it, begging for it, doing good deeds for it, helping out around the house and therefore expecting it, getting angry, upset, frustrated when it hasn't happened in a week or 2 or 3 or a month or 2 or 3. Shutting down, getting cold, getting intense, playing games like tit for tat. None of that is seductive or attractive to a woman. So to bring things full circle, I think that most men do not understand the subtle and fine art of seduction and enticement. Men want like an easy button. I just pinch her here or squeeze this or slap that, and she gets excited, and all I have to do is do it once, and then she wants to do it like I do. I just get horny for her because I see her, I want to have sex with my wife. Very simple. And men just cannot seem to see outside of, I see you, I'm attracted to you, Women aren't the same way. Not always. Yes, women do have spontaneous arousal sometimes, but it's much more suggestive, open to suggestion, susceptible to warming her up or spiking her emotions. Seduction can actually happen really fast in like 3 to 30 seconds. You can go from just existing and in short order seduce a woman in such a way that she's ready to have sex with you immediately, that her body begins to pulsate and get wet for you immediately. But it's not by just being yourself, role-playing, pretending you're someone else, acting like somebody else. We go into that in different episodes too. It's done through a degree of presence and consciousness, and not being rattled in your core when you stand in front of her and you feel nervous, or you don't know what to say, or you giggle, or you get shy and submissive as a man, or you get disrespectful, or you try something and it gets shut down and now you just feel permanently rejected. Seduction is an art that takes practice over and over again. It's something that you need to repeat and do, and it's not the same button every time. Even if you have the same button, I don't recommend pushing it over and over and over again, because nobody wants to eat oatmeal every day. At some point, the same thing gets old. So take that concept that doing the same thing over and over again and expecting the same results is not going to yield hot, awesome, amazing sex. You can have a pattern, you can have a routine, you can have your best hits, you can have things that she likes, but if you get too used to it, it's not very useful at all. Now, if you're a woman listening to this, or a man, and this is resonating with you and really making sense, you want to get this handled, well, you can fly me out for a weekend learning experience. You come to my office here in San Diego, you can visit Closeness.com, check out the Closeness podcast, or if you feel like you've gotten a ton of value from these videos, you can tip me in proportion to the value you feel like you received. Venmo is Closeness, Cash App is Closeness, PayPal is Closeness Coach, all the things. And if you love this episode, please send it to someone who you think needs it, or at the very least, give it a like, a friendly comment, or subscribe so you don't miss any additional future videos. Thanks, and I'll catch you in the next one.